Canada's wildfire season is now officially the worst ever recorded. And it's only going to get worse as peak fire season continues. The CBC's Sarah Galashan is on this story for us. She joins us now from Coquitlam, BC. So Sarah, just how bad has the season been so far?
Hillary, what we're hearing from the Canadian Interagency Fire Centre today is that so far this season, a total of 7.5 million hectares have burned. Again, that's just this season. And for some perspective, we're talking about an area that is twice the size of Vancouver Island. The Federal Emergency Preparedness Minister was in Vancouver today and just last hour talking about the forest fire season that we have seen so far. I want to play you what he said.
Currently 492 wildfires burning across Canada, and 258 of those fires are deemed out of control. There have been approximately 7.7 million hectares of forest burned so far this year. And unfortunately, that makes 2023 Canada's worst wildfire season on record.
Let's put up a map to show you just nationally what this looks like across the country in terms of where forest fires or which provinces are seeing the worst of this. To start with British Columbia on the west, where 103 wildfires are burning. The real problem area in this province is in the northeast, continues to be and has been since the beginning of the forest fire season. That's where we see the bulk of the out of control fires in British Columbia, in the northeast, in the Prince George Fire Center. Next door in Alberta, which has also certainly been very hard hit this season, 83 fires are currently burning right now, but they have actually recently had some substantial rains in parts of that province. And right now, only 10 of those fires are classified as being out of control. Take a look, though, as we go further east. You see Quebec. Quebec is definitely dealing with an onslaught right now in terms of wildfires. They currently, we heard from officials in the last few hours, are dealing with 114 active wildfires. They have what they're calling an intensive zone. And in that intensive zone, 77 wildfires are burning. Of the 77, 28 of them are considered to be out of control. They have so many wildfires in the province of Quebec right now that what we heard from officials is they are having to pick and choose as to what they're going to prioritize. And of course, protecting communities is top of mind. Let's hear what they said.
It's an issue with the fight because we have a lot of fires in the same time. They are very big. So that's why we have to intervene in specific sectors near the municipalities to avoid the endanger of those municipalities. So that's the big issue, and we don't. It's impossible to fight all these fires in the same time.
So, Sarah, of course, those fires in Quebec, they're not just a threat to communities, but also to air quality. And, of course, not just the air quality in Quebec, but elsewhere as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, where you have a lot of fires, you often have a lot of smoke, but it isn't always the case. I mean, depending on what the wind is doing, that smoke can dissipate. For instance, in British Columbia, we're not seeing a lot of smoke in other parts of the province. But like you say, you look at Quebec and the air quality there and in the surrounding areas has been very poor. We have a smoke forecast map to put up for you here, and you see the dark areas around Ontario and Quebec. Those dark areas, that's of greatest concern. And look south because you also see those poor air quality signs are also happening in some American cities as a result of the smoke from the Canadian fires. Not a new issue this wildfire season. We have seen that play out before. There's pictures from Sault Ste. Marie in Ontario that we have been watching as well. And you get a visual as to what that poor air quality actually looks like. This is a 10 plus rating, which is as high as or as bad as the air quality can get. The advice from officials where they're dealing with this level of poor air quality is to stay indoors, to check your filters. And just finally, I'll say that it is expected to improve today as the smoke dissipates and the winds move. It's not just moving, though, to the south. It's actually moving to the east as far as Blackpool, England. We are seeing the pictures from there on the west coast of England. We're seeing hazy skies, and that is Canadian wildfire smoke. But Hillary, as it moves east, it's also moving up. And so as it hits the higher altitude, the air quality for places in Europe that are seeing the Canadian smoke, not expected to be quite as bad.
Just incredible, Sarah, that it's managed to travel across the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. Thank you for this. The CBC's Sarah Galashan for us there in Coquitlam, BC.